Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Happy Thanksgiving. Friendsgiving. All right, you want to go again? All right, hold on. Hey. What's up? Happy Friendsgiving. So exciting. We watched all 10 episodes.
This morning, yeah.
Right, immediately. And we took some notes, and we're going to go through them and talk about what we thought. We have seen, this is an important spoiler alert. We're gonna spoil all the episodes. So if you
we have to say that.
If you haven't seen the 10 Thanksgiving episodes of Friends that aired in the last century, there's time to catch up on that. So get in there, watch them first. It doesn't take that long. There's 10 episodes. They're like 22 minutes a piece. So if you add that up, it's not very long. So we did that and we watched all of them. So do you want to get started? Do you have any thoughts before we get started on this tradition, the fact that we're doing this at all?
This is a tradition that you have, and I love that I get to be a part of it now.
Yeah, I have this tradition because I don't care for Thanksgiving. I'm a bit of a chandler. And this is one of my ways of celebrating it. I've spent a lot of Thanksgivings away from my family and in weird situations where I couldn't be with anybody. So to me, it was always very comforting to watch these episodes with my friends that were 20 years older than me and lived in New York, but really in LA. So a real sense of reality, which is great.
Definitely.
So yeah, we're gonna go through them one at a time, and as we go through, if you're watching this, feel free to drop your comments down in the whatever the fuck. And tell us what you think. And if you have thoughts about these episodes, I've been doing this for a really long time. I've been watching these 10 episodes of this TV show every year for at least 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous. I still watch Friends, and so do you, and so do we. During the regular year, we just we'll put it on in the background like the radio, which many people do. And we do it with other shows as well. But when it comes to September, October, I start skipping the Thanksgiving episodes if we have it on in the background, because I know I'm going to watch all 10 of them again in a month or so.
Right.
So I start going past it. Okay, cool. Let's go. We'll start with the first episode, which is...
the one where Underdog gets away.
Yes, which is a reference to what? What does that title mean for people who don't remember what the episode is about? Underdog gets away. I'm asking you what that means.
Oh, a Macy's Day float.
Right.
Escapes.
Of Underdog.
Yeah,
do you know who Underdog is?
I've heard.
You've heard of Underdog?
Yeah.
What have you heard about Underdog?
It's a character.
That's true.
Character in a movie?
A character in, not a movie. No, it was a TV show. It was a cartoon.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So Underdog was a cartoon, when they used to draw them, and was he was a regular dog who was a janitor. And so it was a janitor dog, and then he would fight crime because he would change into Underdog.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. We'll watch Underdog sometime.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there you go. So that's what Underdog is.
I've noticed that the more and more I watch the show, I don't understand a lot of the references.
Right.
Like, I'm getting better at it, but I didn't grow up in like a very American cultured household.
Right.
So a lot of the inside jokes are great, but I don't like
know what the hell
I've been learning.
About.
Yeah, I've been learning like what the references are.
That's a cool touchstone, though. It's kind of like Mila Kunis learned English by watching Bob Barker. Like, so many people, when they come to America, it's the TV shows and the movies and stuff. That's how they soak in the culture and learn the references and all the little turns of phrase.
A member from BTS learned English by watching Friends.
100%.
It's crazy.
All right, so they get locked out of the apartment. Got the keys. So some notes that I have about this episode are Chandler and his hatred of Thanksgiving is in the very first episode. A lot of times when we go back and we watch TV shows and we think to ourselves like, oh, that was a thing the whole time. And I'm trying to think of a good one right now where it's like, you think to yourself like, oh, that was a thing that was always going on. Like, I remember for a long time, I remembered Marcel, the monkey, being on the show for way longer than he is. It's a short period in season 1, and that's it.
Yeah.
But in my head, I was like, hey, there's a few seasons where there's the monkey. I was like, no, it's a very short arc.
Yeah, but then you see him a little bit for the movie.
Yeah, there's a 2-parter where he comes back.
Yeah, that's probably why your mind was like, he's in a lot more stuff.
But this Chandler hating Thanksgiving thing is from the get-go. From the very first episode, he's like, fuck Thanksgiving. I don't do it. And why does he hate Thanksgiving?
You're asking me? I thought you were going to say the answer. Okay. Because he found out that's when him and his mom, or his mom and his dad were separating.
Right. Because his dad's gay.
Yes.
Right. And he was fucking the houseboy. That shit's crazy. We're going to talk about that again when it comes up in more detail. But he, just let's talk about that so you're studying to be a social worker.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Okay.
Okay, so this little rich boy, is he from Vegas? Because his father goes to Vegas to run the club.
Is he? Well...
No, he's from New York somewhere.
I would think Long Island. No?
No, because he calls her later in one of these episodes, he calls her the hermaphrodite cheerleader from Long Island. So why would he call her that if he was from there too? But we can assume he's from the New York area.
Sure.
He went to college at NYU with Ross.
Right.
I don't know if it ever actually tells us exactly where he's from. He's from a shitload of money is the point.
Right.
He's having Thanksgiving dinner, and his parents are like, all right, here's the deal. Your dad's gay.
Yeah.
Your parents are getting divorced. And the guy who cleans up around the house, your dad's fucking that guy.
And he's here
and he's here right now serving you turkey. Again, we're going to talk about it later.
Oh, man.
So incubate on that. We'll come back on it when it's a more relevant thing. But that's introduced in this episode. And then there's also the episode where Joey ends up on all the posters for venereal disease for the healthy clinic around the city. And they do this montage where they play the police. They play Sting's Don't Stand So Close to Me, which Sting is later referenced on the show in a whole episode.
Right.
But they don't do a lot of these montages. This is an example of one of those season 1 things that you're like, huh. Like, they do the retrospective clip show montages later.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, this is specifically, like, showing a bunch of stuff happening around town.
Right.
And that's not a thing that happens very often.
Right. It's fun when it happens.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
got the keys.
Oh, and also we should talk about this episode, of course, sets up the tradition of Monica hosting Thanksgiving. Why?
Right, because her parents are going on vacation.
Right. And they always go home.
Right.
And they're not able to.
And Ross is like, no.
He's super cynical about it.
Yeah.
It's also the episode where Ross talks to his baby through Carol's belly. Okay. That's why he walks into this all like, yeah, he's bopping around because he's like, wait, what the fuck? This doesn't smell like mom's.
Potatoes are ruined, potatoes are ruined, potatoes are ruined.
Someone should remix that. Potatoes are potatoes are ruined. She's not going to Vale.
Vale, shoot.
I know.
Shoot.
So they all ran out to the roof of their Manhattan apartment to see a runaway Macy's Day Parade balloon. That would be pretty fucking cool. I would do that. You know what I mean?
That would be cool to see.
Yeah, that would be totally wild to see.
I went to the parade just by passing 2 years ago.
Yeah.
When I lived in New York.
Right. I have an actual literal Macy's Day Parade story. Go ahead.
But it was so windy that none of the fucking floats were actually in the air.
That's a drag. So it's just a bunch of marching bands and people dragging balloons around?
I was surprised they didn't cancel it because it was super windy that week.
They got to put something on TV. All that airtime is booked.
I know, but it was crazy. It was pretty sad.
That is sad. So we're talking about the Thanksgiving episodes of Friends, and we're talking about the Macy's Day Parade episode, the first one, where Underdog gets away. I went to the Macy's Day Parade with my mom when we lived in New York when I was in high school.
Yeah.
It was one of the worst experiences I've ever had. It was like really, really upsetting because we really wanted to go. And it wasn't just that it ruined that day, is that it was the beginning of ruining going to stuff for me. Like it was the thing that turned me into the guy who's like, I don't want to go to that. Like, there were already things like that when I was a kid. I was generally like, I don't know. I was kind of like lazy and stuff. But when we went to the Macy's Day Parade, I was so hyped about it. I used to watch it every year. It was one of the few things I really liked watching.
Yeah.
And we went to this thing, and it was so muggy and humid, and we were sweating, and there were so many people, and it was like impossible to really see anything. We didn't know how to do it. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't know how to
like prepare for it.
Yeah, how to be in the right spot.
Right.
We were so not in the right spot, and we were like looking over people. It was such a disappointment. And we didn't have the attitude of like, you know what? We should rethink this next year and try it again. We just walked away with it like, fuck this. We should have watched it on TV. And for the longest time, and still kind of to this day, I'm like, nah, you should watch it on TV. You know why? Because they put the cameras in the best fucking spot. That's the whole point. They get all the best angles on it, and then they let you sit in one place and be like, oh man, that's dope. Right.
But I think if you have the experience.
If you can be in a window or some shit that overlooks the street, that is awesome. And I would do that for sure. Especially if in that window, like in that room, you're like smoking weed and like hanging out. Like, that would be pretty dope. You ready to go to episode 2?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. So, season 2 starts with the list. And we have this whole thing that makes it a Thanksgiving episode, which is Monica is in between chef jobs, and she goes to this, what is it? What kind of company is it? What'd you say?
Some kind of agency.
Yeah, I guess. She gets placed with them or something. She ends up in this office with Michael McKean, who is one of my favorite comedic actors of all time. This dude is hilarious. You know him from Better Call Saul. You know him from Laverne and Shirley. Countless other things. He's fucking hysterical. And he is working on this new product, Mocklet, which is a chocolate substitute with God knows what in it.
Sounds awful.
Oh my God. What is he? She says it bubbles in her mouth.
Yeah.
I love the fun that the writers had to have with this episode because they had to come up with the description of what made it terrible. Mm-hmm. And it does sound horrific. It sounds really bad. Okay, notes. Oh, the main thing we should point out is the reason why it's called the one with the list is because other than this whole subplot which is kind of the B story where Monica is making these Mocklet treats to try to sell to this dude who's selling Mocklet.
Right.
Are you late?
Sorry.
You're late for an appointment?
Let me turn on my notifications.
You're new to the Apple Watch, so I'm going to give you a pass because it's a new thing for you.
I happened to understand.
That's good.
Okay. Hello, I'm back.
Hello. So she's doing the Mocklet thing, right? She's going full Mocklet, baby. Just fucking living that Mocklet life.
Okay, interesting.
But the episode is called the one with the list because it's barely about that. It's mostly about.
Yeah, I didn't even know this was a Thanksgiving episode, so don't be fooled. It is.
It is arguably the worst Thanksgiving episode because it's not about Thanksgiving. They don't have dinner or anything. She just makes. And when she's in this meeting, the guy's like, "We think we can make Thanksgiving the Mocklet holiday."
Right.
That's the only thing. This episode, as we're about to see, is mostly about Ross and Rachel having this big fight because Ross breaks up with Julie to be with Rachel.
Right.
But in that process makes a list about her where you want to fill in that blank? I want to do all
the pros and cons.
Right.
Between Julie and Rachel.
Right. And what are the things that he says about Rachel that are the cons that she doesn't like?
She's a little spoiled, chubby ankles, just a waitress.
Right.
Are those all of them?
I think that's right.
The main ones, at least.
Yeah. Have you ever done that for someone that you're dating?
A pros and cons list?
Right.
I think I've verbally talked to someone about it, but not
Have you ever written it down?
Literally where no.
Or typed it into a spreadsheet?
No.
Pretty good.
Have you, my love?
No, I've never done that.
Okay, I was like, it just.
I've never even done it in my head. I've never even been I don't know which one I should. Let me think about it. She's got money. She's poor. She's got chubby ankles.
Writing just a waitress is fucked up.
Well, and a lot of the argument comes from the fact that Joey and Chandler translate the way that his thoughts into their shitty verbiage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Should we just kill the Instagram? It just keeps coming in and out.
Yeah,
and then no one wants to stay.
Very shaky. Let me do that.
No worries. So yeah, I think that's a bogus. So yeah, I think that's a bogus way to handle things, period.
Agreed.
And
if anything, if you verbally say it, that's just part of a conversation with someone. It's just the idea of making a list with other people too.
With the other people's fucked up because the fact that means they sat around and brainstormed that shit.
Yeah, which is oh my gosh, please don't do that. That's terrible.
Right, with her friends.
At least have it be a private moment. But the fact that, they're all three are involved.
Also, can we comment on the fact that printer technology's not gotten that much better? There's a whole gag in this episode where Chandler cannot fucking get the printer to work, and that is not any different now. We still cannot get the printer to work.
We have a good printer now.
If you get it where it works, you can. But when you buy a new printer, which is his situation, he got a new one.
Yes, it's still terrible.
Completely terrible. He ends up on this 45-minute phone call with the tech guy.
Right. Oh my gosh.
You gotta like Rachel's outfit in this one. I love the turtleneck.
Yeah.
It looks good on her. Is it the skirt?
Mm-hmm. I love all her waitress looks. Her uniform.
Yeah, for sure.
Look is so cute.
I'm gonna skip ahead here a little bit. Do we have footage of the... It may just be the list itself. Let's see. Do we have the breakup? So, yeah. They get together because he's like, I dumped Julie and shit. And then she finds the list.
There's the list.
Oh, I wanted to talk about this. They do such a embarrassingly piss poor job of covering this up. It's funny in a Three Stooges way, but they're so bad at it. She's like, they wrote something about me on this paper and they won't let me see it. And then they have to do this goofy game where it's like, oh, dude, shove it down your pants, run to the toilet, go to the, there's so many, run to your room and close the door. There's so many excuses of things that they could have done. And so they don't. She gets it and outsmarts all three of them, which is, it's just preposterous that they would fuck that up that badly.
Yeah. They just wanted an immediate breakup situation.
Yeah, they just need to be
it's
yay!
She's the happiest girl. He's getting her coat, She's dancing. She's so happy.
Right.
And then in that same moment, she sees the fucking list.
It's on Parks and Rec when Adam Scott is we balance each other out. So it was a Chris Traeger and then a Ben Wyatt.
Mm-hmm.
Just slam it back down. You're all fired.
Yes.
Yeah, and you can't do that too often on a TV show. If you do that every single episode, people get bored and that formula gets tired. You can't set us up for something that big.
Sure.
And then take it away. And they did such a good job of building up over season 1 this thing. And then they did the thing that later The Office would rip off, where they swap it going into the next season. And all of a sudden now the girl's chasing the guy who's not available.
Yeah.
Because he found someone more exotic.
Right.
Is the trend. So, yeah, he comes back in season 2 and he's got Julie, and now Rachel's pining for him and he's unavailable. And
I like Ross and Julie together. They're super cute.
Not that you're biased.
What makes you say that?
Nothing.
What makes you say
that,
I said
babe? Not that you're biased. Because you're not.
Right.
Right. Why would you be?
Right.
This leads to one of my favorite things.
What?
Ross calls into the radio station. This is the thing. Anyone who's young who's watching this with us, maybe you don't know this. People used to do this. This was a big deal. You would call into the radio station, request a song with a message. The DJ would play your song, read your message, and you would try to get the person who was pissed at you or that you loved to hear the radio at the right time. Right. So that they would be like, oh, that's Rob says, Candace, you're the one, and then soon play this fucking song. This was a huge thing.
Yeah, but the only way that you would hear it is if
you had to know.
By chance, someone
or you had to know this, and you had to have a hookup. You had to have fucking Monica be like, hey, I'm going to put on the... I don't want to skip this. I'm going to put on the radio because I know it's happening. You had to have someone on the inside.
Right.
So what they do here is Ross calls in and says, I want you to play this song for my girl, Rachel. And they're like, Rachel, he's sorry. Here's a song. And it's With or Without You by U2, which is a fucking beautiful song.
Yeah.
But then it cuts off because they do this great misdirect where you think Rachel is going to call him, and she actually is calling the radio station to tell them that he made a list about her chubby ankles and her spoiled waitress life. And they say one of my favorite guest star lines. It's not even guest star. It's a featured extra, because the DJ says, we don't want to play your song, Ross. So let's move on to a couple that actually stands a chance. Michelle wants Avery to know that she's sorry that she hit you with the car, and she hopes you can work it out. And they play another song. And to the DJ, that couple stands a better chance than the asshole who made a list about her chubby ankles. Like, Ross is more of a piece of shit than the nearly homicidal Michelle. Oh my god. Such a good gag.
Such a good line. And then...
So then they break up for like quite a while. For the rest of the season, they're like apart, and they spend, I don't know, what is it, like 5 or 10 episodes? It's like a while that they're like apart again, because they just didn't want to give up on the back and forth and put them together. Here we see Ross and Rachel looking out rainy windows while the song plays anyway. And this sets up a gag later in season 2 where Joey moves out, and Joey and Chandler are sad looking out windows, but Joey's is a piece of art in his apartment.
Right. That's episode 2.
That's episode 2. Definitely, the mocklet. Definitely one of the weaker ones as far as Thanksgiving goes.
Yeah, I know
the
for
weakest.
Me, I would not try mocklet.
No, or fistachios.
Pistachios. Pass.
I'm gonna give that a moving on to season 3. Season 3, everybody. A great episode. Really, really one of the best of the 10, I think.
Definitely.
They kicked it into high gear. The first one is fine. It's a good episode. It introduces a lot of important things. The second one is like, whatever. And then the third one is where we start getting the gold. There's like, I'm going to say, for me, there's 4 that are the best of the 10. And this is one of them. So, tell everybody what this episode is pretty much about.
The one with the football?
Yep.
They play football.
That's right. Very good. For those that can do less than read, do you have anything else?
Yeah, originally they have 2 teams set up, but then it ends up being guys versus girls.
Right.
And they're trying to win the Geller Cup.
What is the Geller Cup?
It's Ross and Monica's really creepy troll award that... Did they create it?
Yeah, I like to think... you don't want to believe that Jack or Judy made that fucking thing.
No.
That is literally a troll doll nailed to a 2x4, nailed to like a tuna can. It looks like a tuna can on the bottom. And it looks like it has the old label maker that printed the letters into the labels, like on it, and said like a Geller Cup or something like that.
Okay. I don't remember that detail, but I believe you. It
absolutely does not look like something an adult had anything to do with.
Right.
So
it's super creepy.
We're gonna assume that at some point after they started the tradition of playing this football game at the Geller household, one of the kids was like, there should be a trophy.
Right.
Who do you think that was?
Ross?
Monica. Because Ross always gets trophies anyway.
Oh, sure.
And Monica's the competitive one. She's the one that's like, I hope they give us a test in homework and all this shit.
Right. I just thought of it as like Ross has a bunch of trophies and he loves that.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't he want
When she brought it up, thinking I'm going to take him out, he was like, I got you. No problem. I'm going to smoke you. Oh, yeah, for sure. So I'm going to go ahead and say I decided today that Monica made this fucking thing. It also explains why she dove into the lake to get it after they threw it in there. And it also explains why Jack would throw it in the lake. He probably hates that fucking ugly little thing and was like, I don't understand why you fight over this.
Symbolism. Yeah.
Exactly. So at the beginning of this episode, they're like, let's play football. And Ross and Monica are like, yeah, we're not allowed to. Mom says we're not allowed to play anymore after Monica broke my nose with her elbow. Her savage, big, fat grandma arm elbow.
Right. Direct quote.
That's how it works. By the way, savage nose breaking.
Babe, remember when we went to the field that they play football?
Yeah, we've been on the Warner tour twice, and we've once went on we've been in a bunch of locations for this show, but one of them does include the field where they end up playing right here.
Yes. Iconic. Such a good...
It really looks like a set once you pay any attention to it, but it is a super cool area and is used for a bunch of different things. Let's see, what else do we have on this?
Benny.
Yeah, Bunny up. Stupid. I love it when they do stupid Geller shit and the rest of them are like, guys are gross. So weird. And they're like, when you guys played Happy Days, who the fuck plays Happy? Like, I know Happy Days. Who plays Happy Days? That's so weird.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a fun piece of trivia. Maybe not everybody knows. Phoebe has a That Girl shirt on. That Girl was a sitcom as well. And That Girl was played by Marlo Thomas. And Marlo Thomas plays Rachel's mom.
Right.
So you got a little full circle right there. And I'm like 85% sure that that's all true.
85%?
Maybe 90. I'm pretty sure.
Awesome.
Yeah. I know some stuff. You know? Thoughts about the football game, babe?
So fun. I totally relate to Rachel in this scene where she goes so long, she comes back with the pretzel. That would be me. No one even notices she's gone until they see her with the pretzel in her hand.
Like, where did you go?
And then, is it Ross that asked her? Like,
yeah,
where'd you go?
She said, I went really long.
I went really long.
Way over there.
So
Cinnamon
great.
sugar.
So great.
So,
that would be me, babe. And you know it.
Oh, I do know it. 100%. That's a super fun episode. I love that they take the risk of making pretty much the entire episode the football game.
Yeah.
And when they do those kind of bottle episodes that are out there, it's not a full bottle episode because they are in the apartment for like the beginning and halftime and the end. But
this would be on my top 3.
Top 3. Okay.
I think so.
Let's move on to arguably one of the best seasons of the show.
Yes.
We're talking about season 4. Episode 8, The One, with Chandler in a box. This episode is so great for so many reasons. Not the least of which is it includes one of my favorite guest star series, Paget Brewster as Kathy, who starts off as Joey's girlfriend and ends up as Chandler's. I like both couples. I like her with Joey. I like her with Chandler. I think she's beautiful and talented and lovely.
She's fun.
Paget, if you're ever in town, you come on by. No, she's wonderful. And I love her arc on this. She has a lot of personality. Unfortunately, some of the guest stars that they have on the show, they write them kind of flat.
Right.
And I feel like Kathy is written kind of flat. But I feel like she does a lot with the role. They don't give her that much. I mean, what do we know about her? She's in acting class.
Right.
Like I can't describe anything about her character, but she has such charisma on the screen that I think it makes us be like, oh great, it's this character again when she comes back up.
She's just really fun.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a charisma thing.
Like you want to be friends with her.
Exactly. She just has a vibe. So we're digging the vibe. Except at this point, this is in the crossover section when she's going from Joey to Chandler. She has kissed Chandler. She's in love with Chandler, but she was dating Joey and kind of a little behind the back action. So the whole premise of this episode that ties it to the series outside of Thanksgiving is Joey and Chandler are in a fight. And they're having a fight.
Such a fight that he threatens to move out.
Yeah. And it creates quite the little drama scene, little soap opera action.
I love it.
For sure.
Love the drama.
So we got Chandler in a box as the subplot. And then we also have a couple of other fun things going on. This is Secret Santa. Every good series has a Secret Santa episode. I have done the math before, and it is not quite possible to know for sure who everybody originally drew, even if you have the DVD episodes with the extra lines. I tried to figure it out once.
Interesting.
Because they all talk about, like, oh, who got who, and should we trade, and I need to trade, and all this kind of shit.
And then they never reveal it.
They never, well, they say some of them, but there's some of them that they don't ever say, and there's just enough that they don't tell you that you can't quite, like, cross it out.
Got it.
I used to play those games when I was a kid where it's like they tell you six facts about things and then you have to figure out who everybody had.
Yeah.
I love that shit.
Have you done Secret Santa before?
Yeah, a couple of times. Never super fun. Never like... I don't remember having a great Secret Santa where I look back and I was like, oh man, I'm glad we did that. I wish. I'm not against the idea. I think it's a cool idea. I haven't had a lot of great ones. I feel like I did it when I was like really young, like school. But yeah, I've never done it at work or anything, I don't think, which would be the cool place to do it.
Yeah, for me it was when I was in the choir back in the day.
Oh man. What was the best Secret Santa gift you got?
I don't remember.
Anything?
I just remember the fun.
Do you remember any of the gifts you got?
Yeah, I remember getting like a stuffed animal, just like little things. But
Sure.
This was a choir with 80 people. So the fun part was there's so many of us. So
Sure.
it's like close to impossible to figure out who you got. You
Right.
know? Like that's the exciting part. I don't even think I obviously can't remember a gift, but I remember the experience being fun because you just don't know who you're going to get.
Do you know anybody who exchanges every gift they ever get? Like Rachel? I was thinking about that. I don't know anybody like that.
I don't think so. Which is probably a good thing.
Couple of thoughts about this. The Magnadoodle in Joey and Chandler's apartment, which I don't know if we'll get a shot of, says, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, like 600 times.
Yeah.
Sometimes the Magnadoodle is related to the plot, and sometimes it isn't.
I love looking at the Magnadoodle.
So dope. Okay, so the Magnadoodle is a great example of something that in our heads we're like, oh, and that's something that was there the whole time. It's not there until like season 4, 3. It's not like a season 1 thing at all. It's later than you'd think.
I love that we have one.
It's
do. Fun.
Or it says Friendsgiving 2021 today. Couple of notes. Also, this is of maybe more than any other episode in the whole series. I used to watch these episodes on the DVDs, and the DVDs have extra lines in them.
Right. I miss that.
Me too. I have them over there somewhere. If I really dug them out, we could watch those. But they're also not in the same frame size. You know, they're the old 4x3, and they had all these extra lines. And so for years, when I would watch these episodes for Thanksgiving, I would watch them on the DVDs, and I have those extra lines ingrained in my brain, and not hearing them every single time I watch this fucks with my brain. There's one in particular, which I don't know if there's even a clip in it of it on here, but it drives me insane.
Chandler's doing some thinking.
What is the point of the box? I love this too, that this is how they worked it out.
Yeah, this is super. Yeah.
It's a clever writing thing for a comedy show, but it's also just like, that's fair. That's legit. I think it's a good trade.
But you think like...
But he doesn't fucking take it seriously. You'd think he gets the out, and then he still dicks with him all day.
Right.
Chandler's such an asshole.
But you think like the way they shot it, he's literally only in the box when his fingers are shown, right?
Yeah, probably.
Like
why put Maddie in the box all day?
Right.
If I was directing the episode, I would make him be in there all day for sure.
Yeah, but I was thinking like I don't think he would do that. I don't know, maybe.
Well, you're getting paid to be on the show, buckaroo. Quite a bit of money at this point. So, get in the box. And it is the easiest fucking blocking of anybody else all day. Just get in the box and stay there. Shut the fuck up. And then
at least it's not an autopsy drawer.
Yeah, that's true. My honey was in a full-on autopsy drawer. I would have had a panic attack.
Yeah, not suitable for claustrophobic people.
What about this shit with Monica's dating her ex-boyfriend's son?
No.
Thoughts on that, babe?
Gross. I agree with the friends. I love when Rachel's pouring the wine. She's like, sick, 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 sick. That's how I feel.
So gross.
He's attractive. Don't get me wrong. But just no. Like, Phoebe should date him or something, you know?
Right. Pass on it, Mon.
Yeah.
Pass on it.
Let's pass. Let's not do the kiss. They do the kiss. Oh, God.
So gross.
So gross.
So Chandler does end up with Kathy at the end, and Joey's cool with it, and everything goes fine, and then they break up like 3 episodes later.
Right. Open the box.
Because no guest star relationship lasts longer than like 5 episodes, absolute maximum, except for Mike.
Damn.
I think that's true.
That makes a lot of sense.
I think
they go through a lot of people.
I think that includes Richard. I'd have to double check, but if there's an exception, it's got to be Richard. Not counting any additional episodes, and you can't like add up all of Janice's stuff.
Oh, I guess we know that Kathy's from Chicago.
Yeah, that's true.
Because her mom's in Chicago.
She's gonna go to Chicago with her parents. You're right. Again, that's fucking nothing. It tells us nothing about her. Oh, she's from Chicago. Okay. So are all kinds of people. I will say, as a side note story about this episode, when I was in college, we had a theater festival every year called Intensive Arts, and one year, one of the professors tried to, as an experiment, stage a live episode of Friends using the script, recreating the set, and recasting, obviously, the parts with like college kids. And they did this episode. And
how was that?
It was interesting. It wasn't terrible. Some of the actors clearly knew the show. Most of them did not do anything to try to emulate the performances of the actors. They did their own take on it.
Interesting.
They weren't. No one was doing a Matthew Perry impression or a David Schwimmer impression, or they were all doing their version of the characters.
That's kind of cool.
Which was pretty fucking interesting.
Yeah.
The only one who I think was like a real diehard fan was the chick who played Kathy.
Okay.
Yeah. She was like a real like Friends fangirl. And she did a great job of, she didn't, play it like her either. I mean, you don't have only so many choices, but.
Right. He's out of the box.
He is out of the box. An excellent episode. I love a good Joey Chandler hug. Yeah. This one's up there for me as well.
And then he just blurts out that Chandler's a secret Santa, but he's not.
Yeah, he claims he is. And then he has to trade him out with somebody else.
And no one says anything.
No, fuck him. Fuck him. All right, so season 5, episode 8, the one with all the Thanksgivings, as it was called originally.
Yeah.
But I'm noticing more and more that these days they're changing names of episodes. This has happened quite a few times. And now, if you go to HBO Max, this one is called the one with the Thanksgiving flashbacks.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know why. There's another episode like season 8 that also like totally changed the name afterwards. I don't know why. So obviously we get some really great stuff out of this one. We get a lot more time with Fat Monica. This is our second time really seeing her. The prom video in season 2 was our first time.
Right.
I don't think there's any Fat Monica in season 3.
Their hair.
Or 4. They do these great 80s hairstyles. You got the Flock of Seagulls. You got Welcome Back Cotter over here because he's still doing the prom video style from the previous reference.
You have Rachel's OG nose.
Yeah. You got pre-op, pre-rhinoplasty Rachel.
And Judy has this, like, aluminum gold dress on.
Oh, fantastic. You know, it's funny. She's in... Christina Pickles, who plays Judy, is in The Wedding Singer. And this looks like right out of that. Which takes place in the 80s. Courtney Cox is so good at playing the fat version of Monica. It's insane. Like there's an extra vibe to her. There's another kind of sense of humor. It's like a in theater school. It's like we would say it's like she's got a clown mask on. It's like she's doing a character almost, which
really
is
good.
It's so fucking funny. She has such great physicality. The way she like dances in the different episodes in the fat suit. Mm-hmm. She famously like fooled Matthew Perry on set. Like he walked by her at like craft services and didn't know it was her. Absolutely ridiculous. What else do I have? I don't know if I have footage of it too, but I want to mention that the Chandler flashback, we actually see Chandler's like dinner table thing that we referenced in the first episode that gets brought up all the time about how he had this horrible Thanksgiving experience. And this is him
so
in
we
college.
see that for the first time in this episode?
Yeah, we see it depicted. When we see the little kid.
The little kid.
And Morgan Fairchild comes back, his mom. Yeah, love the big nose. Roland Chang. Like, they're so into these college versions of themselves. This is apparently the moment that made Monica skinny because Chandler fat shamed her.
Right.
But then the next year she cut off his toe. So there's some tit for tat going on. What do you think on that? What's the score on that, huh? Little fat shaming, little complete toe loss.
They're both bad.
They're both bad. Yeah, we're on that page together.
I think Chandler's is worse.
You think the fat shaming her is worse than losing his toes?
No, losing the toe.
Oh, okay. So Monica's transgression is worse. Okay. Got it. Yeah. Chandler pays the higher price for sure. Monica's only residual effect is a little shame and the fact that she gets super fucking hot.
Right.
So that's uphill. And then they have this big argument because he realizes that it was all intentional for her to embarrass him. And it leads to one of the best, most iconic moments in Friends history and in Thanksgiving Friends history. The turkey. What's that, Jeannie?
Jeannie's
You want to say hi to everyone real quick while the turkey puts its glasses on?
Wait 1 second. Look what I have.
Oh, boom. This is our Christmas ornament this year. Here, I'll show them. There we go.
Rob picked that out for me
Here
for
we
our
go.
ornament this year. What?
Haha.
Hey. That's cute. That's gonna be a cute screenshot.
Yeah, right?
Jeannie, come here.
She does the dance with the fez. This is our dog Jeannie, everyone.
Hello.
Say hi, Jeannie. Hello. Ugh. Oh, it cut right when Joey walks in. That's attractive. Yeah, so the one with the Thanksgiving flashbacks is pretty cool. We get some cool footage. We get some iconic moments.
It's a good one.
It is good. It is not as funny to me as a lot of the other episodes that we do talk about. So it's not in the top four for me.
But it just, there's a lot that happens.
A lot of story, which is good. We can appreciate that.
But I agree.
Just let the list chuckles. We move on to season 6, episode 9, the one where Ross got high. This is a great episode. It is a weirdly named episode because it's really about other shit. But
yeah,
that's a
it's
great
mainly about Monica and Chandler living together.
And I think a great, maybe another title would be like the one where Jack and Judy come over. Like, because that's really what changes this episode and what makes it what it is on so many levels, is that Phoebe's whole thing is with Jack
right.
and being attracted to him. They end up in this whole blowout. It's really about Jack and Judy being there, and Rachel making this god-awful trifle dessert meat banana pie.
The second you hear it, you should be like, yeah, that.
Oh my god. And then beef sauteed with peas and onions, then another layer of jam. First of all, take out the meat and the peas and onions problem. This does not sound good.
The trifle.
No, the jam and then banana pudding and then or whatever.
Fingers.
I don't. Can we just get a few bowls and put each, and I can have some jam and I can have some I don't like this multi-layered 9 dessert.
I thought you were
thing.
gonna immediately just be like, "Can we just have some bowls so we can put ice cream in it?"
Oh no, we're gonna do that.
Ooh, I'm
That's
so
coming.
ready.
That's coming. We have to have lunch first. Lunch dinner.
2 pizzas.
Oh yeah, the Joey special. So yeah, the one where Ross got high is a fun episode because it's got a bunch of different things that all pile up in this one big explosive moment, which is really great. And everybody just starts exploding truths on Jack and Judy who do not ask for it.
Yeah.
Here we go. You were such a tattletale.
And it just escalates into this thing where they start talking about their childhood
They
and
start
things.
ratting each other out
all
on
the
everything.
secrets. Yeah.
There's a similar scene between Ross, Monica, and Chandler where they all start outing each other on old secrets that they know about each other.
Right.
And you'd think they'd fucking learn better. What is this? Oh yeah, well you said a thing about me, now here's the room's attention, I'm gonna give this fact about you. Dude, shut the fuck up, don't you know, this is not gonna go good.
And Jack and Judy are just like, oh my goodness, this is a lot of
that's
information.
A lot of shit. Man, he has the best expressions. David Schwimmer is so good. There's where they go. This is where it starts rolling out of control.
Did. Chandler
hurricane-
and Monica are living together.
Ross
Got divorced.
married Rachel and got divorced again.
Again.
I love Jacques Cousteau. What the fuck is she talking about? I wasn't supposed to put meat in the trifle.
I wanna go.
He just wants to leave because there's some hot bitches that want to get naked and dance and drink with him. I can't believe he's still there. What are you doing? What version of Joey stays at this fucking thing?
Joey, if you wanna just...
If you want to leave, bro, just go get that ass. What are you doing? And take sad Ross with you so that you guys can stop ruining this day. For these people who are trying to have family time while you're trying to have Fucksgiving somewhere else.
Yeah, and then Judy is saying, to Monica, the fact that she hasn't told them about them living together.
Right, when Judy shames them about everything all the time.
Yeah, that's
Judy, though.
obvious.
She doesn't know nothing.
It's obvious why Monica didn't tell them.
Right? And then they end up in love with Chandler. Oh, I also want to mention that this thing that happens to Chandler has happened to me so many times in my life. Where later someone was like, oh my god, I hated you. That's not what happened? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, bitch, why didn't you... Someone could have asked. I have had enemies for long periods of time that it was based on a misunderstanding. And I think there's something about mine and Chandler's personalities that if there is a misunderstanding, we're an easy person to hate. And if you find out that it's not true, you're like, oh, fuck. That sucks. Now I don't hate him anymore. It just, goes away. I don't think that happens to that many people. But this thing that happens to him has happened to me before. You, find out someone hates you. You're like, why? And then you track it down finally, and you're like, hey, that wasn't me. They're like, oh, then you're cool. Man, fuck you this whole time. Oh, it's the only transition I didn't get out of this.
It's okay.
I got almost all of them.
You just cut it.
There we go. Season 7, episode 8, the one where Chandler hates dogs, which is very weird because there's earlier episodes where he's fine with dogs. So
yeah, they kind of go back and forth about this.
Well, and you got to keep in mind, I've mentioned this many times as we've watched this show and as I talk to people about old shows like this. You know, these writers didn't binge watch the show over and over again.
Right.
As they wrote it.
Right.
They just wrote it every week.
Right.
And so they don't, they're doing their best to try to remember the truth about everything. And you got your script supervisors to be like, what the fuck happened again? And then what did we air? Because that's another thing. And as a TV producer, I can mention that. I've shot so many things that I'm like, wait, can I follow up on that or not? Because I know I shot the setup, but did the setup make the cut?
Right.
If it didn't, then I have to set it up again. Yeah, it's crazy. So anyway, Chandler's like a little bitch who don't like dogs.
The dog's name is Clunkers.
He's so cute. Such a cute dog.
Jeannie would be best friends with that dog.
Oh, yeah. They'd fucks with each other, for sure.
But, okay, can we mention the fact that Phoebe is staying with them?
Right.
And she just secretly keeps a dog. Like, it's not her house.
Right.
You know, it's a little rude. And the fact that she's had the dog for 3 days and
how long is the plan? I don't even think she ever says, like, it's only going to be, like, another day, or does she say that?
All she says is she's watching the dog for friends. That's basically it.
Right.
But Denise. I was just thinking... Denise. I was just thinking, like, you're the guest at this place. Like, why are you... That's not right.
Yeah, I'm with you. Do you want to tell everybody about your Moo Point experience?
Oh, man. Sure. This year, I found out that it's moot point, and it's an actual phrase. I had no idea.
So what did you think? Okay, so let's mention what we were specifically talking about here. So I think we have the scene too.
Oh, that was fast.
I know, right?
Here
we go.
Yeah.
So this is the scene where they're debating about whether or not Rachel should pursue a relationship with her assistant Tag. And Joey makes the argument that she first needs to determine whether or not Tag is interested in her.
Right.
Otherwise, it's going to waste everybody's time to even investigate it, and she should just keep her mouth shut, right, if she doesn't know.
Yeah.
The way that Joey puts that is he says, if he doesn't like you, then this is all a moo point.
Right.
Rachel questions, moo. He explains, right. A moo point is a point that's like a cow's opinion in that it doesn't matter. It's moo. So when you originally saw this, well, what did you think that joke was about? Have you ever heard the phrase before or after this episode in real life? Someone saying it's a moo point?
No.
Or a moot or mute point? I've heard people say mute point before. That's infuriating.
I just thought it was just a phrase because Joey's dumb.
Sure.
He'll, like, say weird shit all the time.
Right.
So I just thought it was a phrase he made up.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes sense. For me, I thought in the eyes of Joey, it would make sense for him to say something like that. Like, thinking that it's a cow's opinion.
Absolutely. It could stand on its own, but I want to clarify that you've never heard anyone in real life or in another TV show or movie say,
no.
Oh, it's a moot point.
Never.
Okay.
I didn't even know moot was a word.
Well, right. But, okay, so I got you. The only thing I'm trying to clear up is, like, were you aware in any way that it existed outside of this show?
No.
Because I think it's possible that you could have done that, had that experience, and then watched this and be like, oh, he's saying moo. I guess it's moo, but that must not mean what it means.
No, I didn't know at all.
But then to find out it's moot is a recent discovery for you.
Yeah.
So now you know that the phrase is a real phrase that people say.
Right.
And it's the point is moot.
Right.
And
I learned that this year.
And it's an insanely weird thing that people say. Because in no other context have I ever heard anyone be like, oh, well, that's a very moot thing over there. Like that, or that looks moot. Or, I don't know, that idea kind of moot. I've never heard that. It's a moot point. The point. Not a concept, not an idea. A moot point. And
I feel like
never
now,
heard anything else.
I feel like now
It's
I want to incorporate that word in like a future paper.
We should find out what it means and try to say it as often as possible just so it's weird. People are like, you guys say moot a lot. Like, are you saying moo? And then just have that back and forth with them for a while.
Yeah, I'm down.
So moo point. I will say that when Chandler comes back later, he refreshes the weed reference problem. So in the previous episode where Ross got high, Monica kind of makes this line that I hate where she's like, it's not like you do it now about weed. As if it's like some dirty, gross thing and, you know, that would be a childish thing to partake in. And I don't have any, like, particular opinions about marijuana. I don't think, you know, anyone should or should do anything. But, you know, I don't like we're going too far. I don't love the direction that takes. Clunkers. I don't even know if I got any shots of the dog.
Just
in the
States game,
in that back.
too.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I don't know if we're going to have time to do that. Chandler's dumb States game. We'll do it next year.
Okay.
Okay. I want pizza. Or, like, I don't know about you.
Can we take a break, or...?
No, because we're almost done.
Oh,
we only have 3 more left.
I know.
It's going to be great. Anyway, that's the end of that one, right? We're done. What was I even talking about? Who cares?
So this is going to be our third to last. Right?
Yeah.
The one with the rumor.
So good. We got to get
such
to it
a good
first.
one.
All right, do that intro again.
So this one's going to be our third to last.
Yep.
The one with the rumor.
Now in season 8.
Yes.
This is a fucking great episode. This is in my top 4 for sure.
You have a top 4, not top 3.
Yeah, I decided on top 4. I said that earlier.
Sorry.
Top 4. I can do top 3 if you want.
Okay.
Okay. No. Now I want to do top 3. No. Now I want to do top 3. Okay. Oh shit, that's tough one too. Okay.
It's tough, right?
Yeah, no, it is really tough. 4 is so much easier. Alright, I'm gonna tell you my 4 and then I'll decide on 3 as we talk about it.
Okay.
So the one with the rumor is awesome. Brad Pitt, who's dating Jen Aniston at the time, comes on the show as her enemy from high school that she didn't even know she had.
Right.
Will, who used to be fat like Monica and is now fucking Brad Pitt and rich. So he's Brad Pitt. And he's got
so he's Brad Pitt.
So he's Brad Pitt. Basically he's Brad Pitt. And he's got the great early 2000s Pitt frosted tips.
Classic.
So dope. Fresh out of Ocean's 11.
Yes.
Doing the hair flip like nobody's business. Straight out of Rachel Land.
Good.
And this was
Rachel Land.
This is in the time we were finding out Brad Pitt was funny. Like, Brad Pitt was not famous for being funny. And, like, Ocean's 11 and a few other things, it was like, oh, he's a pretty funny guy. And he did a tremendous job on this. Let's see, what else? Oh, you were talking about having a grudge for this long. It's been like 10 years since they were in high school. He says you made my life miserable. and she doesn't even remember him.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. I just came back from my 10-year high school reunion.
Yeah. And there were like 30 Wills who were like, your wife was terrible to me. And I was like, yo, that's intense. They all came up and they were like, you have no idea who she is, who she was, what she is, where's It's like, that's intense. And they said it like that. They're from the valley and shit.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
The moment where he gets so angry, he like
he's like
grabs
whatever that decoration's like potpourri or something or holly.
Yeah, holiday
twigs. He's got some holiday twigs up there.
Such a great moment.
Also, I want to talk about the fact that they rag on Ross for making out with a 50-year-old woman when he's in high school. I don't think 50's that old. Maybe it was different in the 80s or whatever. But like, they talk about her like she's 70 years old. They're like, oh, she had like a broken hip and all this stuff. Like, I've seen some there are some hot ass 50-year-old women. That is not unusual. And it's not like they all get to see a picture of this chick and they're like, oh my god, she looks like she's falling apart. She's a walker. Like, I just think that's weird. And they all breeze past the fact that Brad Pitt says he made out with the male foreign exchange student before he went back to Thailand.
Right.
That's not more interesting? I would rather talk about that. Especially considering all of Ross's weird, like, borderline homophobic shit that he deals with, where he's like, I don't like male nannies. And it was like, you made out with a guy. And then later he shames Chandler for making out with a trans chick.
Right.
And it's like, you made out with a guy on purpose. Who the fuck are you? And no, everyone's like, whoa, no. You made out with a 50-year-old woman? That's not the interesting story that we heard. It just kind of buried the lead on that. It's so weird. That's the thing I want to talk about. Moving on to definitely non-negotiable in my top 3. The one with Rachel's other sister. And I think this is a heavily slept-on episode of Thanksgiving Friends action. I love this one.
It's so good.
Well, and there's no, like, iconic... the football game is iconic. The turkey on the head. There's a few that the flashbacks with the hairdos and the fat suit. Like, that all is, like, so visual. This episode is fucking amazing because of the dialogue. It is so funny. And it's almost like they packed extra jokes into it. Instead of it being, like, the 1, 2, 3 kind of Friends formula, it's like 1, 2, 3 tag, and it's like funny every line. It's like twice as funny as most of them. There's so many great bits, and most of the really great stuff is from David Schwimmer and Christina Applegate.
You're so great.
So funny.
This fight is great.
Yeah, this fight that they have with each other. I hate that we never get Christina, Reese, and Jen in the same episode. I really want to see
that would have been fun.
All 3 sisters.
Yeah.
Because they both got 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Both of the sisters have 2 episodes. Oh, the plate. A great example of building up a valuable emotional investment in a prop so that you can destroy it.
Let's also talk about the idea of China plates for your wedding.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
As a present. Like, I don't want that. Please don't get us.
Yeah, don't get us plates. Don't buy us fancy shit we're not supposed to use. We don't want to store things for us, or whatever. Please don't. Okay. Anyone who's watching. It was going to get us China. We're not registering for any China patterns.
And the fact that Monica goes back and picks different ones.
That's fucked up.
Terrible.
Besides, if we were going to get it, we shouldn't even get China. We should get Korea.
Wow.
Yeah, you like that?
I love the line where Rachel says, like, she's like a koala bear. Like,
yeah. I went to the zoo and now I'm a koala bear.
right. So good.
Yeah, that one's fantastic. We would show more, but again, it's not as visual of an episode. It's about dialogue. It's just so fucking funny. All right, final episode.
We made it.
We made it. Season
final
10.
Episode.
It's the one with the late Thanksgiving. This is the one where Monica is like, I'm done doing this tradition we've been doing for 9 goddamn years. I'm not doing it. And then Phoebe gaslights her into doing it with reverse psychology.
Definitely.
She's like, no, you don't even want to do it. It's fine. Because you're a loser. You gave up, right? You're a quitter. She's like, fuck you. Now she makes it. And then they don't even show up. Which is a very well-written sitcom episode.
Iconic.
Of course.
The floating heads.
So good. Was that the thing that you were posing in front of that they put?
Yes, on the Warner Brothers Tour Instagram page.
Yeah, the second time we went, they had a whole Friends exhibit set up for the anniversary. What do you think about the child beauty pageant?
Super creepy.
Would you put our kid in a beauty pageant for $1,000?
No, I will not.
What about for $5,000?
Ugh.
What about for $8,500 if she wins?
$8,500.
$8,500. That's first price. Price? I decided between prize and place, and I decided on price.
I love it.
And we're going to say it like this: $8,500 in the prize. Would you do it?
$8,500.
$8,500 if she wins.
But if she wins,
$2,000 no matter what because she's pre-qualified.
Okay.
$2,000 bare minimum. $8,500 if she wins. There's only 10 girls.
I don't know. What's your answer?
Does she want to do it? She's a baby in this
question.
situation, so.
Here's the photo.
There you go.
Iconic floating heads.
So iconic.
So fun.
They spend so long in that clip, too. Like, they spend so long in that situation.
Hello.
So, yeah, that was 10 episodes of Friends Thanksgiving. We are so happy that you watched that with us and went through the episodes. I hope that you watched the episodes yourself, and if you didn't, that you will, and think about all the fun little things that we said. And, yeah, we're also going to be doing a podcast soon with the two of us, where we're going to get into all kinds of crazy shit that I'm going to go ahead and say is far more interesting than what we just did. This is a fun tradition for us, but we're going to get into some like wild and crazy stuff on the podcast. It's going to be super fun. So if you enjoy chilling with us at all, you should definitely check that out. When we put it out, it's going to be soon. Working on her for stuff. She's in grad school, and I've got one of those JOBs, so we're not always free, but we're gonna work this into the schedule and try to do it on a regular basis because we think it's gonna be fun.
Yes, I'm so excited, and I'll learn to talk more.
I think you should talk as much as you want to talk.
Okay.
Whatever's comfortable for you, you know. Oh my god, so cute.
Love you.
My last co-host would not sign off that way with me, no matter what. How much I fucking whatever.